Dear students, welcome to the science class. In the last class, we were discussing about the chemical effects of the electric current. So we discussed about the different types of testers, we discussed about the what are the chemical effects of the electric current. In the last class, we discussed about how does the chemical effects is going to happen because of the electric current by seeing the conduction of the electricity through a solution. Where we taken the salt solution and we are using the carbon electrodes. When we check near to the carbon electrodes, there is the formation of the bubbles because of the release of the gases. Right? And those gases are nothing but those gases are the hydrogen and oxygen. So hydrogen and oxygen, that is nothing but water is going to dissociate into hydrogen and oxygen. Those hydrogen are going to release hydrogen gas and oxygen is going to be in the form of the oxygen gas. So both the gases are going to be present at the nearer to the electrodes, that is nothing but carbon electrodes. So the release of the gas is one of the chemical effects we studied in the 7th class. So release of the gas is nothing but it is the chemical effect, that is nothing but it is a chemical change. Because of that chemical change, there is a chemical reaction is going to occur. Why does that chemical reaction is occurring there? It is because of the electricity. It is because of the electric current or electricity. So that is nothing but chemical effects of the electric current. So today we are going to discuss about the one of the chemical effects of the electric current, that is nothing but electroplating. That is nothing but what? It is the electroplating. Before that, we should know about some points. Before going for the electroplating, we should know about some points. So for that reason, in the textbook they are given an activity, so that you can do that activity for checking up the some points we are going to take from those activity. So what are those points? For that reason, we are going to take a potato. We are going to take a potato and we are going to cut that potato exactly in half. We are going to make two parts. So then, by taking a single part of that potato, we are going to use a cell or battery, and on both terminals we are going to connect a wire, copper wire. That copper wire is going to connect it into this piece of the potato. This piece of the potato. So we will connect those pieces of the potato, and they are connected to some terminals of the battery. After some time, after half an hour, after 1 hour, if you check those things, there will be change in this potato. So then at this point, it is going to become green. At this point, it is going to become green. The color of that is going to change into the green. Why did it change in the color, green color? When you check this wire which is connected here to the potato, check for the terminal which is connected to a cell. Then if you check here, this terminal of the wire which is changing the color of the potato to the green. At this point is nothing but it is the positive terminal. It is the positive terminal. Whereas another wire which doesn't change any color, it is nothing but it is connected to the negative terminal. It is connected to the negative terminal. If you see, it is said it has a positive terminal as well as it has a negative terminal. So how they are going to identify the positive and negative terminal? They are going to identify that positive and negative terminal by this experiment. By this experiment, we know that how the cell has the positive terminal, how the cell has negative terminal. That is nothing but due to the color change from that color of the potato to the green color, it is because of the positive terminal which is present here. In the same manner, the negative terminal doesn't going to change the color. So by this we can understand and realize that there are two terminals which are present in a cell. One is a positive, another one is negative. We can check those things by like this. Why we are going to do here? Why we are doing this activity? We are going to do this activity for the checking of the that fruits How we are going to use here? So we are going to take a container. We are going to take a container. The container which is made from the glass should not conduct the electricity. So we are going to take an insulated, not conducting material, that is nothing but glass. In that glass, we are going to put 250 ml of water, distilled water. 250 ml of distilled water. Ml of distilled water. It is non-conducting material. We already know that we already checked that distilled water is non-conducting. It is not going to conduct electricity. In that distilled water, we are going to add 2 spoonful of copper sulfate solution. Copper sulfate. 2 spoon of copper sulfate. 2 spoon of copper sulfate. It is known as deuteroid. The copper sulfate is known as deuteroid, and its formula is CuSO4 and its color is blue color. Formula is not necessary for you, but the color of the copper sulfate solution is blue color. So when you add that copper sulfate into this water, it becomes copper sulfate solution. It becomes a salt solution. That is nothing but it becomes copper sulfate solution. So this solution, when you add it to spoonful of the copper sulfate, it becomes copper sulfate solution. Now this is what? This is the copper sulfate solution. Copper sulfate solution. So next we are going to take 10 into 25 or 10 into 4 centimeter. We are going to take 10 into 4 centimeter dimension a copper plate. We are going to take a copper plate. We are going to take a copper plate which has the dimension of 10 into 4. That is nothing but 4 in the width and 10 in the length, like this. So on that copper plate, we are going to attach the terminals of the battery. That is nothing but on one copper plate we are going to attach positive terminal, on another copper plate we are going to attach negative terminal. Right. So then both the copper plates are going to suspend in this water solution. In this copper sulfate solution. So we have 2 copper plates. One is like this, another is like this. And both the plates shouldn't be touch each other. If they shouldn't be touch each other, they should be apart from each other. So on those copper plates, we are going to connect the copper wires. We are going to connect the copper wires which are connected to the battery or which are connected to the shell. And here we give the switch. It is not necessary to take the switch. If you want to take, you can take the switch and you are going to connect this to the battery. Right. And this one is the positive one and this one is the negative one. This positive terminal, this one is the negative terminal. Always remember, in the 10th class I get going to study about the electricity, not about these things, but about the electricity. This fact you are going to study in the acid basis and salts. In the 10th class, after that point just remember, the longer line is here. It is the positive terminal and the shorter line is the negative terminal. So 2 cells are connected to make a battery. So this is a battery and this is the positive terminal and this is negative terminal. One of the positive terminal is connected to this copper plate, another negative terminal is connected to this copper plate. Right? And there, like this they are connected. Okay. Now next what happens? The current starts to flow here. After this setup, we already know that copper sulfate solution, which is a salt solution, is going to conduct the electricity. If it is conducting the electricity, that means the electricity starts to flow from positive terminal to the negative terminal continuously. So the electricity starts from flow from here to that point, from this copper plate to this copper plate, continuously it is going to flow. So what will happen here? What will happen here after the electricity starts to flow here? Electricity starts to flow, electric current starts to flow from this setup. The copper sulfate solution which is present here, the copper sulfate solution which is present here, it is going to dissociate. It is going to dissociate into its this copper sulfate solution, this copper sulfate solution dissociates into, dissociate means they are going to get separated, the components of those things are going to get separated into its components. That is nothing but copper sulfate solution dissociates into copper and sulfate. They are going to dissociate into copper and sulfate, right? So the copper sulfate is combined with, it is dissociated into the copper and sulfate. When they dissociated when electric current pass through them. Electric current pass through them. So what happens here? Whatever the copper which is dissociated in this solution, whatever the copper which is dissociated in this solution is going to deposit on the negative electrode. It is going to deposit on this negative electrode. So whatever the copper is present here in this case, if we take this as the copper, this as the copper, this as the copper, this as the copper, all the copper is going to deposit on the negative electrode. It is going to deposit like this. So this has the deposition of the what? It has the deposition of the copper. It has the deposition of the copper. So this is nothing but what? This is the electroplating. This is nothing but what? This is the electroplating. That is nothing but on a desired element, on a element or on a substance, we are going to deposit the desired element, that is nothing but metal or material, on that by using the electric current. So this deposition is nothing but it is known as electroplating. We are going to have a plate on this already mentioned electrode or already mentioned substance. On that substance we are adding another substance by using the electricity. We are coating that substance by using the electricity. By that reason it is going to have a plate on these things or deposition on these things. For that reason it is known as electroplating. It is known as electroplating. I hope this is clear. So you can ask the question that, sir, the copper which is present in the copper sulfate solution is going to deposit on this electrode. So what will happen to this solution? This solution is going to remain that same only, or there will be changes going to occur. Now if you see here, the copper which is present here is deposited on the another electrode, on this electrode. So the amount of the copper is going to reduce here, but that is not the case in this case. So for that reason we are taking another electrode. This electrode also made from the copper only, right? Whatever the amount which is going from here to this electrode to negative terminal, that much amount, equal amount of the copper is going to get deposited, or it is going to dissolve in this solution from this electrode, right? This electrode is going to give the copper which is essential for this thing, this solution. So the amount of copper which is going to this electrode, the same equal amount is getting dissolved in this copper solution, from this electrode. So the amount of the copper is not going to change here. So the amount of the copper required here is continuously taken from this solution, and whatever the amount which is going from this solution is again taken from this electrode. So this is about copper plating, or this is about electroplating. Always remember that metallic conductors or metals, in this case we have taken the copper here. The copper is always going to deposit on the negative terminal. It is going to deposit on the electrode which is connected to the negative terminal. So whatever copper when electric current passes through, the copper is always going to deposit on the what? Negative terminal. And the amount of the copper which is required again is going to be taken from this electrode. So this is about the electroplating. If you want to give the definition of the electroplating here, you can give the electroplating definition as the process of depositing depositing, the process of depositing a layer of the desired metal, a layer of the desired metal on another material, desired metal on another material by means of electricity, that is nothing but electroplating. So we have already have a plate. On that plate we want desired element, so that the desired element is going to deposit on this material by means of the electricity is nothing but what? It is the electroplating, and this is the process of the electroplating. Always remember that while doing the electroplating, now whatever the desired element we are going to deposit on this plate should have the desired element should have the solution of that desired element only. Here we are going to deposit the copper sulfate or copper on this element. Because of that we are taking the copper sulfate solution only. In the same way, if you take another example like ferrous, iron, we are going to deposit iron on these things. For that reason we are going to take iron sulfate solution. In the same way, if you want to deposit the sodium on this thing, we are going to take the salt solution, that is nothing but sodium chloride solution. That what does it mean? Whatever desired element we are going to deposit on a plate by doing the electroplating, we are going to take a negative electrode of that element only or of that metal only, and the solution of salt solution will be of that element only. So there should not be any changes. So we can easily deposit those things on this plate. So this is about the electroplating. So next we are going to discuss where does we are going to use the electroplating and what purpose we are going to use the electroplating. I hope everything is clear about the electroplating. So where does we are going to use the electroplating? How we are going to do the electroplating? Now by seeing some examples we are going to see. If you see the car parts, the parts which are made for the car, for example, if you take every part of the car which is shiny surface, those car parts, bath taps, in your home if you see that bath taps which is made from the iron or which is made from the metal surfaces. The same way if you take the kitchen gas burner, bicycle handbars, in the same manner wheel rims are the wheels of the vehicles, that is nothing but bicycle, or you can take the example of the bike. So if you check all those things, they have a shiny surfaces. Since they are made from the iron only, they are all made from the iron only, but they have a coating of the chromium. That is nothing but we are going to take iron. On that iron, by using the electricity, that is nothing but chromium plating, by using the electricity or electric current, we are going to deposit a layer of the chromium on that iron. Inside it will contain iron only, but outside the layer of that thing is nothing but which is coated by the chromium. So why we are using the chromium here? Chromium has the lustrous surface. That is nothing but chromium has a shiny surface. Because of that, all the rays or all the handbars shine. So it gives a shining surface and it gives attraction to the buyers of those bicycles. So it gives shining surface. Second one, its resistivity is less. Resistivity is more. So that it is going to we already know that iron is generally easily corrode. It is going to corrode. Because of that, there will be deterioration of the iron. To stop that thing, what we are using here, we are using the chromium. So that chromium layer is going to protect the iron which is present inside it from corrode or from the deteriorating, for destroying it. So if it is corroded, it becomes destroyed. What will happen? The equipment which is used are easily going to be damaged. For that reason, this chromium which is plated on this iron is going to help that iron to stay safe. So it is going to have a lifespan higher. Because of that, we are going to use the chromium. We are going to use the chromium for the plating of this car parts, car tanks, kitchen gas burners, bicycle handlebars, or wheel rails. So if you take the chromium example again, chromium is an expensive thing. So there, the chromium is just you can ask the question that the wheel rim should be made from the chromium only. Why from the iron coating from the chromium? You can ask that question. If you ask that question, chromium is an expensive material compared to the iron. Iron is easily available and it is cheaper. So then, if I take all the chromium and we are going to make the rim of the chromium only, the expense will be very high. The expenditure on that bicycle will be very high. The same way the cost of that bicycle will be very high. For that reason, we are going to take a cheaper material. On that cheaper material, we are going to coat that cheaper material with the costlier material or expensive material, so that material looks good, looks great, and that lifespan of those things should be more. For that reason, inside we are using the cheaper material. On that thing, we are depositing or plating the expensive material. Like this, we are going to plate for the purpose of these things. Next, if you take the example is silver and gold. Second example, silver and gold. Now silver and gold, we already know that both are very expensive things. Now if nowadays the gold price is about 50k for 10 grams. So is it expensive or it is very cheap? It is very expensive. So it is not possible to buy everyone the gold ornaments of jewelry of that gold. So we want the gold ornaments of jewelry, but it looks like gold, or we want a jewelry that looks like gold. The color should be like gold and it should have a shining surface. But we don't have that budget. So what that ornament maker is going to make, or it is going to do, he is going to take less costlier material for the purpose of making the jewelry and ornament. On that plate or on that material, they are going to deposit the silver and gold. They are going to deposit silver and gold by the electroplating method, so that the ornament looks like exactly the gold like, but the cost of that ornament should be less. It should be less. It is going to be less because of the using of the non-costlier material. Because of that, we are using the silver and gold with the electroplating of the some of the jewelry and ornaments, so that the cost should become reduced. And it is going to give the properties, design property which we required here. Design property we required of the silver and gold. For that reason, we are depositing that thing over here. In the third case, tin cans used for the storage of the food. Tin cans used for the storage of the food. So the tin cans is not made from the tin only. They are made from the iron. So that on that iron, there is the coating of the tin. Because of that, they are known as tin cans. So because of the tin, we are going to use that tin cans for the storage of the food. In those things, first material is iron. Of that, we have coated the tin. Why we coated the tin? So that we are going to get the desired property. Since iron is a highly reactive element, and it is going to react with the food particles which are going to store in that can. So if it is reacting with that food, the food is going to get damaged. For that reason, we have a coating of the tin. So that tin coating, what it is going to do is there, tin is a less reactive element. It doesn't going to react with the food particles. If it doesn't react with the food particles, is it possible that the food particles are going to get contaminated or going to get damaged? No, it is not possible. For that reason, tin cans used for the storage of the food are tin is deposited on the iron by the method of the electroplating. In the same manner, James, in the bridges and automobiles. We already seen that in the bridges and the automobiles, there is the requirement of the iron is very high. We are going to use iron at very high amount for the making of the bridges or for the building of the bridges. In the same manner for making of the automobiles. So if you check the properties of the iron, that is nothing but iron is going to corrode easily. It is going to corrode easily. when it comes in the contact with the atmosphere, it is going to get deteriorated, it is going to get destroyed. If it is destroying, so by what means we are going to protect that iron so that its lifespan should be more. For that reason, the iron is used for the bridges and automobiles is get coated by the zinc. It is get coated by the zinc, so that the zinc which is coated on this iron is going to protect that iron from the coming in contact with the atmosphere, so that the iron shouldn't corrode, and it shouldn't deteriorate. For that reason, we have the zinc coating by the means of the electroplating on the iron. So these are some uses of the electroplating, and here your chapter is completed. That nothing but chemical effects of the electric current. And one more thing is here. So whatever the solution which we are using for the electroplating is dangerous. It is harmful for the environment, for the climate. So the disposal is a one headache for the factory of the electroplating. So they have some guidelines. They have some guidelines for the disposal of the solution which is used for the electroplating from the government. So by using that guidelines, they are going to dispose those things. So here your chapter is completed. I hope everything is clear about this chemical effects of electric current topic. I hope there is no doubt regarding this topic. In the next class, we are going to discuss about the exercise questions which are going to come in this topic. After that,